Debuting in 2009, ABC's business visionary pitch show Shark Tank has seen everything. The premise of the show is basic. Creators, inventors, and business people pitch their items to genuine investors, called sharks. The sharks assess the item and conclude whether or not to back the youngster organizations with their own money. From morning timers that wake you up with the smell of bacon to a scented flame that mimics the most charming fragrances to draw in a man, the show has uncovered its crowd of about 5 million watchers to probably the silliest innovations ever considered. Nonetheless, through the years, the sharks have likewise observed some extraordinary thoughts that simply required a financial specialist to take off. Every pitch on Shark Tank is not successful all the time. Several fail to interest the sharks enough to satisfy them to invest in their idea. Others might have good fortune with the investors, but battle with consumers. Although the Shark Tank appearance is the first step on a passage to recognition, fame, and prosperity. Today, we'll investigate the products that were rejected by Shark Tank that are fiercely successful. These products didn't make it in the Shark Tank, but they still made millions of dollars. So let's begin our list of top 5 rejected Shark Tank pitches that made millions of dollars. Number 5. Ring. When Jamie Siminoff, presently CEO of Ring, showed up on the show in 2013 with an ingenious product, he pitched the Doorbot, a guest ID for your entryway, the doorbell with an incorporated camcorder that sends cautions and the video feed immediately to the proprietor's smartphone. Homeowners are then ready to see and talk with whoever's at their front entryway, or disregard the guest. The gadget permits property holders to give the impression that they're home when they could be anywhere on the planet. Since numerous criminals will in general ring the doorbell to check whether anybody is home before a break-in, the gadget comes in extremely helpful as an additional safety effort. During his appearance on the show, Siminoff was at that point enrolling $1 million in yearly deals and appeared to be very confident the Sharks would battle for the opportunity to contribute. He requested $700,000, estimating his organization at $7 million. Individually, in any case, the entirety of the Sharks backed out, aside from Kevin O'Leary, who offered a $700,000 advance, a case to 10% of all deals until the advance was paid off, a 7% royalty on every single future deal, and 5% of the organization's equity. Siminoff turned the arrangement down and left with nothing. After the show, deals kept on improving, and Siminoff raised the $700,000 from different sources before the episode even aired. After Doorbot was publicized on Shark Tank, Siminoff said deals hopped an extra $5 million. Millionaire Richard Branson was part of the venture capital financial specialists that put $28 million into Ring, giving the organization a $60 million estimation. In mid-2017, the organization raised an astounding $109 million from venture capitalists. Somewhat more than a year later, Amazon purchased the savvy doorbell creator for more than $1 billion. Amazon recently put resources into Ring through its Alexa Fund venture that only puts resources into Alexa-fueled gadgets. Over time, Ring has raised $209 million and was last estimated at $760 million, as per PitchBook. Siminoff has since been a visiting shark on the show. Number 4. Zero Shoes. Lena Phoenix and Steven Sashen showed up on the show in 2013 with their own structured, moderate dynamic footwear called Zero Shoes, an extraordinary shoe that would form the shape of the foot to emulate the sentiment of practicing shoeless. The Sharks agreed they high-priced their business, which they look at as simply nothing more than a bit of rubber and string. Kevin O'Leary was the only one to offer them an agreement. Be that as it may, he chops their valuation down to $800,000 and offered them $400,000 for half. Yet they chose not to sell and rather continue building up their items. "You individuals are probably unpredictable business visionaries," said O'Leary. "You should take Kevin's arrangement because your bubble is going to pop." Dallas Mavericks proprietor and extremely rich person Mark Cuban said, "I'm out." When their scene broadcast, Phoenix and Sachin saw a huge rise in their deals and have utilized that traction to develop their business gradually. Presently, their shoe transport everywhere throughout the world, and they have an ever-expanding following of competitors, hippies, athletes, and Shark Tank fans. Even though they didn't discover a big-name financial investor, they found a lot of different supporters among general society and have raised $1 million through crowdfunding. Number 3. First Defense Nasal Screens. Joseph Moore showed up in the second season of Shark Tank looking for $500,000 for 10% of his organization, First Defense Nasal Screens, which creates nasal air filters. With an $8 million abroad agreement close by, he intrigued a few sharks with his latent capacity and handled offers that included a $4 million offer from Robert Herjavec. On air, Moore settled for a loan deal with Cuban, O'Leary, and Damon John, worth $750,000 for a 30% value stake, in addition to 15% eminencies in perpetuity. Yet Moore, at last, chose not to proceed with it. Turning down the Shark Tank cash doesn't appear to have harmed his organization. In 2015, Moore disclosed to GoBankingRates.com that First Defense Nasal Screens was debt-free, a multi-million-dollar organization that was still exclusively owned and had authorizing, licensing, and distribution agreements throughout the world. Today, the organization has licenses in 50 nations worldwide, and most recently reported its association with an Indian organization, Filter Your Life Healthcare. Number 2. The Lip Bar. Beauty fans and business visionaries Melissa Butler and Roscoe Spears showed up on Shark Tank in 2015 with their pitch for an all-common, veggie lover, and cruelty-free lipstick that arrived in a wide variety of colors, counting lavender purple and turquoise blue. The Sharks were confident about the item, yet not Butler and Spears. As youthful, novice entrepreneurs, Butler and Spears, despite everything, had a long way to go about the business before propelling their line of items. At least, that's what the Sharks thought. In the wake of leaving the show with no deal, Butler and Spears advertised their lipstick alone and sold lip bar items online with developing achievement. Reportedly, Target got the lipstick line, and Lip Bar is currently sold in 450 stores the nation over. In a meeting with Rolling Out, she said she saw the unforgiving Shark Tank dismissal more like a spring forward because it caused her to understand that she expected to concentrate more on a crowd of people that comprehended the issue she was resolving. On-screen character Taraji P. Henson wore the Lip Bar lipstick to the 2018 Oscar function. Number 1. Chef Big Shake. This story starts with Davis's little girl coming back from school with a freshly discovered determination never to eat meat again. At school, she'd been presented to certain recordings displaying a portion of the practices of the meat business. Things that occur at the slaughterhouses constrained her to stand firm and stay away from meat for good health. Even though this girl stayed away from most kinds of meat, fish was as yet moral in her book. Davis exploited and began making his burger patties out of shrimp, veggies, and seasoning. His daughter and wife were big fans, persuading him to make a batch for a gathering they were going to. At the point when they went to the gathering and Sean put out his plate of shrimp burgers, it wasn't well before they were gone. Much more than that, individuals were commending Sean for his creation. This was all the proof Mrs. Davis needed to see, and she persuaded Sean that he should begin selling his creation. Enlivened by his little girl's enthusiasm for vegetarianism and perceiving a market opportunity, Sean Davis pitched his strength shrimp burger business to the Sharks in 2011, requesting $200,000 for a 25% value stake of the company. Davis desired to tap into the vegetarian marketplace with foods, for example, burgers that depended upon seafood instead of customary meat sources. The Sharks thought the endeavor was excessively unsafe and passed on the chance. In any case, after the scene publicized, heavenly investors held onto the open door by offering Davis $500,000. Annual deals for Davis's organization, CBS Foods, developed from $30,000 to an anticipated $5 million in only 1 year. In 2017, Mark Cuban conceded that he regretted not putting resources into the innovation. CBS items were initially sold in supermarkets, but Davis's organization cut off its market associations, picking to rather sell its product offering to cafes comprising of the ones it operates. Davis has now begun diversifying. Davis's episode of Shark Tank has now been aired on TV 100 times. That transformed into appearances on QVC, Martha Stewart Radio, Man vs. Food, CBS Monday Mornings, and Access Hollywood. Sean Davis has uncovered that he, despite everything, stays in contact with a couple of the sharks, most notably Mark and Damon. Every one of them indicated that they remained by their promise from what they said during his appearance in the show. Everyone had become a client, including Damon, requesting a gigantic shipment for a major gathering he was throwing. Sean clarifies that Damon has been an extraordinary guide and has offered assistance to him en route. Business people shouldn't take it hard that they're turned down somewhere by a modest board of financial specialists, like on these TV shows. Probably the best new businesses have needed to adapt to many investor rejections before raising millions and selling their organizations for over $1 billion. You just won't see that achievement except if you can stroll from rejection to rejection without losing your certainty. Not by any means too brilliant, experienced investors with impact over the output will consistently observe the opportunity and value it. That doesn't mean it's a terrible business or thought. If you like the video, then like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more. And as always, thanks for watching.